If you're dealing with heartburn or GERD type symptoms or even silent reflux type symptoms, it just sucks. I had reflux so bad that I completely lost my voice for 8 years. It was horrible. I probably was not very nice during that time frame. So now I want to be nice and help you understand a breathing technique that can help a lot of you improve that symptom right away. And for others, it has the ability to correct that underlying cause over the long term. Now, some people are going to need to do more than just a breathing exercise. After all, I lost my voice for 8 years. I'd be pretty mad if all I had to do was a breathing exercise and I just didn't know that. So we'll talk about why this exercise has the ability to help some people right away and why it can help some people long term. So when we're looking at reflux, we need to understand that in most cases, it has to do with this lower esophageal sphincter not closing tight enough to keep that acid from coming back up. So basically our esophagus travels through this diaphragm, which is like this kind of like a sheet of muscle that kind of separates the cavity where our heart and lungs are from the cavity where all of our stomach and digestive good stuff is. So this diaphragm kind of moves up and down when we breathe, and it helps our lungs expand and all this kind of good stuff. But where the esophagus travels through this diaphragm, there's what's called this lower esophageal sphincter, or LES valve, that kind of opens so food can come in, and then it's supposed to close so the acid in the stomach doesn't come back up and burn us. So there's different problems that can restrict this from really closing correctly. So what we're going to talk about today is what's called diaphragmatic breathing, or some people will call it belly breathing. And I'm going to put links in the description below to 3 different studies that talk about the benefits that can come along for people that are dealing with GERD and reflux and heartburn type symptoms using this diaphragmatic breathing. So you can go through those studies and see that, oh, he didn't get this from a Paw Patrol coloring book. This is in the scientific literature. So what we want to do to test this out is you just want to put one hand like on your chest and then the other hand on your stomach. Because what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to take a deep breath but into your lower stomach, where you're doing it below your diaphragm and you're breathing the air in there. So to test out if you're doing this right, this hand over your chest shouldn't move out as much. We want the hand over the stomach to move out and in a little bit. And what we're trying to do is just take a deep, relaxing breath in, and then we can just exhale it. So when we're doing this, we're basically pulling that pelvic floor down and allowing room for the stomach to come down a little bit. And for some people, that's going to allow that LES valve to close a little bit tighter. Now, for the people it doesn't help immediately, this diaphragm moving up and down like that has the ability to strengthen the diaphragm and strengthen that LES valve. Now, for most people, that valve is not closing tight enough because it's triggered by stomach acid, and they don't have enough stomach acid to trigger that valve to close, and then the small amount of acid they have in there is coming up and burning them like, oh man, I have too much acid, but they really need to increase that acid. I'll point you to a video where we describe that a little bit later, but what we want to understand here is that some people have what's called a hiatal hernia. And when I show you a hiatal hernia here, you can see that the stomach is kind of pulled up through the diaphragm, and there's like a bulge of the stomach above the diaphragm. So that displaces that LES valve, and now the valve is not going to close correctly. So even if they are making enough stomach acid, it's still going to come back up and burn them. So when we're doing this diaphragmatic breathing and we're kind of pulling the stomach down with that deep breath, for some people that's going to be enough to put that LES valve in the right location and allow it to close correctly. So they can find relief from their heartburn almost immediately when they do this. Now, other people doing it over time can strengthen that diaphragm and strengthen that LES, and that may be enough to fix it. For other folks, they're going to have to fix the low stomach acid issue, and they might have to fix some type of bacterial overgrowth that's creating a lot of gases and pressure coming from the stomach, or maybe even from the small intestine where we shouldn't have a lot of bacteria. And that pressure is pushing up too forcefully on that LES valve where it's not strong enough to close properly, and then we get reflux. So different people are going to have to take different steps. I had quite a few things going wrong with me, and I really had to work through some stuff to fix my reflux for good. So just remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving anybody medical advice. I'm basically just a professional stand-up comic turned nutrition author, because when I lost my voice for 8 years and 23 different doctors couldn't figure that out, I had to dig for my own answers. So now for 20 years, I've been teaching health professionals in more than 40 countries how to help their clients fix the actual underlying causes of problems instead of just covering up the symptoms. So the next time you're feeling heartburn or some type of reflux symptoms, you can do 5 or 10 of these belly breath type things to see, does it bring you immediate relief? Now, there is another mechanism that has the ability to benefit reflux. Just by taking these deep breaths, we're taking relaxing breaths. So if someone is stuck in the fight or flight sympathetic side of this autonomic nervous system, then that restricts our ability to create stomach acid properly. So if we can relax a little bit, that allows the body to move into the parasympathetic side of the autonomic nervous system, and now the body can make enough stomach acid to trigger that LES valve to tighten correctly, and then the reflux can stop. So this might benefit some folks a little bit more over time. They may need to do this for a couple weeks to get a little bit more relaxation in their day, to allow their body to move into that parasympathetic state after they eat so they can really digest their food the way that they're supposed to. If we're really stressed and we're freaking out and we're holding our stomach tight, that also restricts the stomach from churning correctly and mixing that acid with the food so that we can digest it. If it can't churn and get that movement going, then it's going to take longer to digest, leaving that acid and food in the stomach longer, giving it more opportunity to get pushed back up. So there's a few mechanisms that this breathing technique can really help reflux, either immediate for some people or over the long haul for some people. Just keep in mind that with most severe reflux cases that I've seen, people need to do more than just this breathing exercise. But if you test this out or if you've used this in the past, let us know in the comments how it worked for you, or if you have other breathing exercises that have benefited your reflux as well. But if you've been dealing with this for a while like I was, and sometimes you see improvement and then it comes back, you can jump over right now and check out our video on the hidden reason your reflux won't stay gone, and that'll walk you through some of the troubleshooting. I can't wait to hear about your results.